Florida Horse Park was actually created in 1996 under the Department of Agriculture. It was reorganized in 2005, but it really didn't take off until about the last 5 years. I think the Florida legislator kind of realized how valuable the park was to the community, to Marion County, and to Florida itself. So they kind of started supporting it, and we're very excited to get their support and continue the growth.
I'm really excited about some of the recent changes here at the park. The new arenas, the Martin Collins Klopp Fiber arenas, were a huge added benefit and will allow us to bring in better, bigger shows, especially for dressage, eventing, and the hunter jumpers.
Our goal is to obviously create an international competition facility that encompasses all breeds, all disciplines. We've got plans to promote the education of agriculture and the equine disciplines, and just make the facility just an all-out facility for the people of Marion County, the people of Florida, the United States, and the international community.
I've been coming to the park for years. My wife rides and competes here. I come out and ride with her as well. So working here for me is more of an opportunity to really move things forward and see a great facility grow, something that I've used for a long time myself.
New events that have never been here before, and bigger events. We're really looking to get the community involved and be part of the team.
For me, the Florida Horse Park is a sign of economic growth. So the more advanced we get as the Florida Horse Park, the more business we bring to the economy.
We have 5K runs, we have festivals, we have rodeos, we have car shows, we have war reenactments. We literally have something for everybody, and that's what truly makes the park unique.
We get people from Barbados, from all over Europe, everywhere, and it's wonderful, and all the different events and horses they bring along with them.
We're welcoming back Jay Hambley as course designer and builder. Jay is building for the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. Jay has also built 2008 Beijing Olympics. We're also excited to welcome back veteran course builders, Tommy Neneman and Mark McCleary. They've been at the park for years, so we're excited to have them back.
We have a airway aerator that we just got to help improve our footing, keep everything as soft as possible for the competitors. We also have 600 yards worth of irrigation line that we can move to just about anywhere out on the cross-country course. And we can get it to almost anywhere on property to help irrigate the grounds, keep things looking green, and also keep the footing soft on the courses.
We really encourage spectators to come out for every show, but especially the eventing shows. It's basically the triathlon, but for horses. We have 3 different phases: dressage, show jumping, cross country. Saturdays are the best day to come because all 3 phases are running and you can see a little bit of everything.
Even though we are located in the horse capital of the world, Marion County, we are definitely Florida's horse park.
With a story that started with the love of the horse, Seminole Feed continues to push the highest of industry standards. Manufactured in the horse capital of the world, our equine-only mill in Ocala provides the safety and quality our horse customers have come to know and expect since we began in 1934. Performance for you means a horse that's happy and healthy. Seminole Feed, the world's best equine feed.
Shack of Ocala. What makes horse people happy? What makes them want to ride? What keeps them looking for the best and feeling good inside? You'll find everything you're looking for at Central Florida's greatest store. It's so much fun to come explore the good stuff that you're after. Tack Shack of Ocala, the horse lovers candy store.
Out here, we're hostile, cold, and cruel. Our way of life. There's no better way to live. Guts, glory, Ram.
All right, welcome back everyone. So we're just minutes away from starting the CCI 3-Star Long here at the Florida Horse Park. We've got Jessie Phoenix aboard Wabbit as our first starter. So she's in 15th place, going out of order. She's got a bunch of horses in this class today.
She was a busy lady yesterday and
She was
posted
busy.
4 double clears. So well done, Jessie, Canada's superwoman.
So it's tough enough kind of going out and jumping this hard track at the end of the season, Katie, but what's it like riding a bunch of horses at this level?
Well, you sort of get into a rhythm of it, don't you? You know, once
Yep.
you get the first one done, you say, okay, I know the track, I know the lines, you know, you just got to get focused to what your next horse needs. And then, you know, the rhythm of the day kind of takes over and you just keep rolling and rolling
Right.
and rolling.
And some definite advantages, jumping the lines and,
Yep.
and maybe just going out of the box knowing it can be done or you need to tweak something.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got a good look at the warm-up now. Some people are walking around, popping some jumps, getting ready to go in. We see Lindsay Lanier there is just getting her last couple of warm-up jumps in. She should be joining us in the ring shortly.
You know, and hopefully the horses don't need too much today. They did a lot of jumping yesterday, a lot of galloping. Hopefully the jumps are coming up easy for these riders, and you know, they shouldn't have to spend too much time in the warm-up. But here's Jessie Phoenix on her first horse, Wabbit, double clear yesterday. She's 15th currently, tied for 15th, and ready to get this day started.
So this must be a new horse because it's a full thoroughbred. And it's a gray, and the only other gray I know she rides is Bentley's Best, who's a Trakehner bred horse. So this has got to be an exciting full-blood horse for Jessie to have.
You know, sometimes these horses come out of nowhere, don't they? You know, sometimes these riders have had these horses and been producing them at the horse trials, and then all of a sudden they show up on the day, and you're like, oh, who's that? You know, so
Absolutely.
So you know, it's excited to see Jessie having such depth at this level, and lots of nice horses to choose from.
Just a little weak there behind, just hit the front rail of the Oxer with that horse. So it can be a bit of a different game too, Katie, can it? Jumping on the third day at these longer events, another 2 minutes on the cross country to think about. And these horses they grow from the experience they'll get in here today. Hopefully they don't, you know, learn too much by failing. Hopefully they learn by just coming in here, being a bit tired, working through it, trusting their rider. But it looks like Jess is doing a really good job here.
Well, she's a very sympathetic rider. You know, she knows how to nurse one around. She has the experience and she has the confidence to help a horse immensely. So, you know, anything that this horse lacks in confidence or, you know, technical skills, she's going to improve them today.
Really good jump there through the triple combination. So it'll be interesting too. We've not seen any go yet, so we'll have to keep an eye on the time. This looks to be a really nice steady round. So I would say that if she gets the time based on this, we might be in a very achievable position for the other riders to get it.
You know, and the ground jury has the option after 3 riders to review the time allowed and decide if they want to lengthen it. So it looks like she was just over the time.
So that'll be 0.4 penalties added, which is a new rule this year. You get 0.4 penalties for every second that you're over. It used to be 1 second, 1 time penalty, but I think that's a good change. I think it makes more sense to me than it did when you had you know, 3 seconds over, 3 penalties. So
Well, it's definitely put the emphasis on the jumping phases, hasn't it? When
Definitely.
they removed the coefficient for the dressage, and you know, you definitely need an out-and-out jumper these days going
Absolutely.
into the eventing. It's no dressage show anymore.
And now we've got Lindsay Lanier on Fern Hill, Feel Happy, and this horse just bombed around yesterday. He looked right at home, nice Irish horse, really classic uphill way going, and Lindsay looked really confident on him. So
A little tense in the dressage. She's got some work to do there, but again, it's probably a young horse. It's probably, you know, its jumping ability is Lindsay Lanier here on Fern Hill, Feel Happy. She's got some work to do in the dressage with it, but you know, these Irish horses take a bit longer, and the jumping is certainly there. She had a great round yesterday, so she's got plenty of time to work on that and have it all come together.
just waiting for the buzzer here. So in these FEI classes versus a national class, you actually have to go in, you have to stop, salute the judge, acknowledge them, and then we've got the whistle just blown now. So she's got 45 seconds to break the beam to start her time over the first fence.
Which actually is a long time, you know? Most riders feel a bit rushed to get through the timers, but 45 seconds is actually kind of an eternity.
Yeah, it's loads of time.
Yeah.
So sixth from 1 to 2. Looks like there might be even a bending 7 there.
These horses, after they jump cross country, are a bit of a longer step, so it's a little tougher than you would think to add up in these lines on a bit of a tired horse.
Yep.
Looks just a little bit erratic,
Yeah.
like a little bit greened out, a little young, little fresh, little looky at everything around him. But Lindsay's doing a really good job settling him.
It's nice when they're green and they go up in the air like that,
Yep.
isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Mine usually just go straight through the poles, which can make for a really exciting thing to commentate on.
It's not
but it's
bowling,
a miserable
Alex, it's
thing to-
jumping.
Yeah, no, I learned that this year actually.
Nice ride through
He
the line
is
there.
trying to be careful, isn't he? Like he looks a little bit, maybe, you know, sensitive, but he does seem to be getting up in the air.
Oh, the ties come out.
It's on
Hey,
now.
when that happens,
Yeah,
oh
bummer,
man,
the third
gonna
of the
blame it
triple
on the
goes
tie. Here's the nice big wide triple bar.
4 strides to the oxer there. Really nice question there. So asking the riders to ride forward into the triple bar, keep the stride for 4 steps to big square oxer, and then just test them to see if they can just give them a little gap to the vertical there. It's almost a bit of a bogey fence. I bet you we'll see that come down today.
The vertical.
The vertical, yep.
And the front rail of that square oxer.
Yeah,
The triple
definitely.
bar asks the horse to jump wide, right? It's a very friendly shape. The horses don't need to get so much height over it, but they jump wide. So when they land, it's the rider's job, especially on the third day when the horses are tired, to land and rebalance them so they can leave the front rail of that oxer up.
And now we've got Ashlyn Michel on Emporium. This really pretty big gray, a 10-year-old horse.
Big Dutch horse. Ashlyn had a 20 yesterday on the cross country. She had made a circle in the water when her horse had a quite exuberant jump into jump 5 into the first water there. And, you know, with some experience, she'll learn how to sort that out when she lands instead of
And
turning
what
a
a
circle.
bummer, because he really was jumping. Like, he just was a bit overbold, and she just kind of lost her reins, and it took her a minute to get back going. But as you can see over the show jumps, I mean, this horse is a jumper.
He is a
really
jumping
is classy.
talent, and she'll learn from that. And next time she'll be a little braver. She didn't want to take so many risks yesterday, you know, when her horse jumped so big into the water. And it does rattle you as a rider coming up through the levels when your horse has a jump like that. You know, it's better to not risk it. Turn a circle, get organized. You know, she'll learn from that next time and know that she can sort it out in time to get to the B element.
6 vertical to vertical there, and Chris has been playing with that line all weekend. It rode a bit funny in the lower levels. Was it a 5? Was it a 6? There was some talk about it. And just losing a bit of confidence here. She just got in a little too deep to the first one. He skyhooked, so he just gave it a little too much room vertically, and then came down on the back rail, and then was just working backward from that.
And he
Bummer.
looks a careful horse, so that will affect him. You know, once these careful horses, if they have a pole down, it does rattle them a bit, and it's your job as a rider to settle them and say, hey, it's okay. You
Yep.
can continue, get your rhythm back, you're fine.
And a good finish there for her. So a good overall, maybe not the weekend she hoped for, but a good experience for this horse. And you can see he's got loads of talent. And he's a heck of a jumper, and he just looks to want to do it. He doesn't look like, you you know, he's making mistakes on purpose. He looks like he's trying really hard and just figuring out his way as he goes.
She's not such a bad jockey either. She did
No,
a good
she's
job
doing a
all
great
week.
job,
Yep.
really good, and she'll look to kind of plan out her fall based on some of the knowledge that she got here this weekend. So now we've got Leslie Law on First Class. Love this horse.
Olympic gold medalist.
Olympic
needs
gold
no
medalist, yep.
needs no introduction here. He is bomb.com.
And he had a really disappointing 20 yesterday into the first water. The horse just, you know, whether he didn't see it or just got a bit green about how impressive it was, just huge bummer for Leslie. I know he thinks a lot of this horse, and he'll be, you know, quite frustrated with that, but he'll definitely look to jump a clear today.
This horse would have been one of the odds-on favorite to win, but
Absolutely.
that's showbiz, baby.
That's right.
That happens.
And this horse, just a 9-year-old, bred at the QC stables in Belgium and produced by Kai Stefan Meyer up to the 5-year-old year, and then Leslie bought him the end of that year and has brought him along ever since. Has had a lot of wins on him, a lot of success.
This horse is owned by Beatrice and Guy Rayherm, who I have the pleasure of knowing, and they are fantastic owners for Leslie and just really top people.
And what a fun horse to own, huh? He's
Yeah.
just beautiful.
I know.
And Leslie on this horse, I can say from watching him at a bunch of different events, he always looks like he's just going steady, and for whatever reason, this horse has a big old step, and he just seems to make the time quite easily. Hopefully I don't jinx him, but he does seem to ride a nice rhythmical round.
It's funny when you're producing these horses, you know, you're producing these horses not for this event sometimes, but you're producing them for a big one like Kentucky or Badminton, you know? So Leslie's just going to take his time and go careful with this horse and go steady until he knows the right things and he's doing all the right stuff, and then it's time to pull the trigger. And a man like Leslie will know exactly when that is.
Absolutely. Bummer there. He just had the back of the triple bar down. He just dropped a little bit behind. It almost looked like he was just eyeing up that next oxer and just lost his shape. But one down, not a bad weekend for First Class.
Yep, well done. Really exciting horse for the future. He's got to be thrilled with it.
Now we've got Kylie Lyman and Zenatu, a nice young chestnut Irish horse. I think he's 8 years old, this horse. And this horse looked really fancy yesterday. I know she had a 20 somewhere. I wasn't able to see it from the live stream score, or live stream feed rather, but he did look to be a really nice jumping horse. Kylie's riding in that shadow roller, so another one that we see just getting a little bit keen in front of the fences, and that just helps him to focus, settle his eye a little bit, and look at what he's jumping.
That shadow roll, what it does is it blocks the horse's view when they lift their head too high, when they come too above the vertical. So it encourages the horse to stay more level in its frame so it can focus on what's right in front of him. Kylie's got a great team of owners and horses and supporters behind her, and she deserves it. She's a fantastic rider and a hard worker and a lovely person, so it's nice to see her having some nice horses to produce and bring up through the grades. I know it's been a couple years since she's been at top level, but hopefully one of these younger ones she's got going is going to do it for her and go all the way.
Just a little unorganization there, so she just cross-cantered through the corner, and the horse just lost his push and had the end of the combination down. Again, tired horse on the last day, that can be a little bit where the glue comes off. You just go to get organized and one little thing slips and then you have one down.
See how she jumps through the triple, nice and straight so far. Little bit peaky at that B element, but she uses her legs and says, come on, you're good. Get to the base of it and jump right up here. Nice over the triple bar.
Nice 7 down to the last, so a good round. Just one down for Kylie, and she'll be happy with that. You know, again, not where she probably hoped to finish. I know she was probably gunning for a double clear on this horse, but all, you know, building blocks for the next year to come, or next season to come, rather.
She's thrilled. Look at her. She's very happy. Next in the ring, should have Allie Knowles, based in Lexington, Casarino. This horse has had a few professional riders in his career, and now Allie has the reins on him and is, you know, trying to take him around this CCI 3-star long. She had a 20 penalties yesterday, but still was quite fast, and I know she'll be looking for a double clear today. She's a tough rider. She's very gritty. makes a good shape over a fence.
He does. What a beautiful horse. This horse looks like he could go and be a really fancy equitation horse too if he wanted to be.
Looks smooth, rideable, all the things you want on the third day from your horses. Allie's no slouch either. She's
She's doing a good job.
quite a
here.
good jockey. Careful there.
Really careful there. And this is another horse that contested the Jockey Club last year and had quite a good finish. And I think if I remember right, I think this horse was ridden by the O'Brien's daughter, and the O'Briens are her long-term really good owners. I think it was bought for the daughter, and then I think in her kind of leaving to go to school, Allie got to spend some time with the horse, and obviously it's been a good partnership because she rides it beautifully.
Really nice with the triple. Very straight, very accurate, really well balanced. This line, if it jumps it like that, it should be no trouble at all. Nice and wide over the triple bar. Easy over the front rail there, and just hold it together for the last.
Steady 7, a little bump, but it worked for her, didn't it? That
That's
was a
fine.
really nice round.
Really good.
Well inside the time, 78 seconds that. And I think, Katie, that from what I could see, the time was it 82 seconds? That's what it looked like to me. So that would be a really nice, efficient round for her.
Here, I believe we have one of our Mexican riders here trying to qualify for the Pan American Games. Fernando Paraquin Delfin, Romana.
And this looked like actually an equitation round yesterday. This guy did a great job. I don't know him. I've never seen him ride. I'm quite sure that he's actually based next to where I live, which is with Karen O'Connor.
Yep.
And I've seen them galloping and doing some stuff. And these guys really can ride. They've got some beautiful horses, and it's exciting to see them spend time here and come up and get some experience trying to get organized for that Pan Am Games in Lima, Peru.
What a coach to have in Karen O'Connor. I mean, if anybody
Yeah.
can whip a team into shape, it's going to be her.
Absolutely. So
Not that they need much wrangling.
Yeah.
They seem to be good riders on good horses, and I believe a lot of them are Mexican bred.
Yeah, no, they're breeding some classy horses down there, and I'm guessing from this guy's getup that he's got on, he's part of the Mexican Army. A lot of the riders down there are part of that program.
Cool tradition to have. It's nice to see a lot of these Mexican riders. I know a lot of them are competing in the normal horse trials this weekend and not the FEI, but they're involved, they've got a good group that are set on their Pan Ams this year in Peru, and I think they really want to make a go of it and try to get their Olympic qualification for Tokyo. So that's fantastic. Good luck to them. If anybody can get that achieved, it's Miss Karen O'Connor.
Absolutely. How lucky are they?
Oh, super lucky. Good round so far.
Got a little short there in the triple, but he did a good job just taking a little field, keeping his upper body tall against the horse so she had time to come up in front.
Really nice. Still has plenty of scope from yesterday.
A little sharp on the time there, but a really nice round.
Again, when you're looking to just qualify for things like games and
Yep.
other events in
A couple
the future,
time penalties probably
couple,
is not the end of the
couple
world, is
time
it?
penalties are fine, and when you're looking at selection as well, you'd rather have one or two on the clock than pull down somewhere, a big mistake, right? When you're looking towards bigger goals, then not that this event is this is a big goal in itself to be here and ride here at this awesome event that they put on for us, but these riders that are looking towards the games, they've got bigger things in mind, so maybe it was worth it to him to have a couple on the clock, and jump a clear round. So
now we've got Lila Gendel on BT Just a Rebel, and this thing just rocked around. He looked like a little bouncy ball yesterday.
it's like a fun little horse, this one.
Yeah, he does. Connemara Thoroughbred crossed this horse. Lila's down here. She's at Justine Dutton's barn, another local rider from the UK, but based here now. She's got this and another nice young horse.
Lila, I think, has come here full time now as well. She's from
Yeah,
the Northeast.
you're right.
She's from Vermont or somewhere up there. Had the A element of that double down.
got a little keen jumping in, just tapped it behind.
Just looks like he's a little tired from yesterday in the sense that he wants to drop his back. He still looks like he has plenty of go, but he's not making as good of a shape as he could possibly. Or if he, maybe before the cross country, he would have jumped in a slightly better shape with his back more up and a little bit more power.
And an interesting too, Katie, for some of the people, watching at home that aren't too familiar with our sport. So here we've got a really tough long cross country. They trot up in the morning in front of a couple vets, a couple officials, and are deemed that they can go on and jump. And then they jump after that, whereas in a normal horse trial competition, or a short CCI as they call them now, you'd get to show jump right after your dressage. So you'd get a nice fresh horse to kind of go jump on, which to some horses is a big advantage. To some, I've had a couple that really need to run for 8 or 9 minutes before they get up in the air.
And that's where you as a rider, you just have to know your horse and pick competitions that suit them.
Good round for Lila. She'll be happy to get another 2-star under her belt.
Look at her. She's smiling. She's thrilled. She's very, very happy. She might be crying.
Never can tell. Tears, laughter, all the emotions.
It's all the same. You run the gamut on weekends like this, don't you?
Now we've got John Michael Durr on Flagmount's nightcap.
A little bit of excitement for JM here. This is Flagmount's Nightcap, a horse previously campaigned by Kelly Prather at the intermediate and 3-star level. This was an American-bred horse, actually.
Yeah, by the great Bruce Davidson, isn't that right?
The Flagmount horses come from Texas, I believe.
Oh, do they? Okay.
Looks like he's just taking his time to get the horse settled. Looks a bit excited. Looks a little fresh. JM's just taking a moment here, like we talked about earlier. You have 45 seconds when the bell rings to cross the timers, and he's just taking an extra moment to get this horse organized and get his head on straight before he starts his course here.
And JM's only been riding this horse, I believe, since the beginning of this year, so this will be kind of a good introduction to see what the horse is like after running a long cross country.
Looks raring to go. Looks like it's got plenty of gallop left.
Yeah, it does not look tired.
It's a little bit unrideable, but it looks like it's trying, when it gets to the jump, it's trying to make a good jump over the fence, trying to stay in a good shape. Again, like we saw with Lila's horse, a little bit braced in its back, which will happen after a long cross country. These horses galloped for a long time yesterday. Some of them are feeling it more than others today. It's our job as riders to get these horses feeling good again and take care of them all night into the morning until they have to jump their rounds today.
Good rub there, but it stayed up. JM lost his number, which actually doesn't mean anything, but just something worth noting. It's just going lightning fast on old Flagmount. Bummer there.
Just comes a little bit against his hand and wants to jump inverted, and when the horses do that, when they stick their heads in the air and drop their back, it's very hard to get their front legs out of the way for the jump in front of them. We talked about the shadow roll earlier. I wonder if that would be something that could help this horse.
I bet you he's thinking that right now.
I think
he's staring at his
He's
nose.
gone through all the ways that he can improve on this from next time. That's what professional, good professional thinking riders do. Before you've even finished the round, you've thought about 5 ways you can improve the next time.
Yep, so a good round there from JM, doing a really good job settling this wild horse down. And 2 down, I would say, for the way the horse was acting and being a bit excited, I think is a pretty good takeaway, to be honest.
And it is tough when you've got a horse that has a bit of experience behind him and is used to another rider. It takes a few goes to really learn them and what they're like in the competition, because they are completely different than when you ride them at home. It's much, much different, and the only way you can get the experience is coming here and doing it.
Now we've got Jessica Phoenix on Dr. Sheldon Cooper.
Here she is, the bionic woman, and here again. So again, she's got the shadow roll on, like we talked about earlier. It's another nice little bloody horse of hers, and I know she's a girl on fire. She's going to try really hard for this double clear round. Nice at the double here.
Good ride from Jessie there, just holding on to him into that combination.
just making sure he takes off at the proper distance and stays off of those front rails. A lot of times these blood horses, these thoroughbred types of horses, they like to jump at the fence and not over it. They have a flatter, more elongated jump, which makes them fantastic cross-country horses because they're very efficient. But in the show jumping, it can be troublesome because the horses really need to use their scope and jump up at the base of the jump and have a really nice bascule. And for thoroughbred horses, it's harder to teach them that. You have to make that part of your training program.
Now coming down this final line, 4 to 7, triple bar oxer vertical.
Hold on to him,
3,
Jen.
4.
There you go, Jesse.
So smart play there with Jessie.
Well
She just
done.
jumped the right side of that oxer, and then she had a little more room in the 7, and it looked like he just needed that little bit of gap to jump up around that.
Just to get him straight to the fence at the last and just to get the strides right, balance him so he had the room to leave that vertical up. Really well done. What a surprise, a super ride from Jesse Phoenix.
Yeah, shocker.
Here we have, I think, a rider from Quebec, Melissa Boutin, EWSC Gelando. These horses are bred in Ontario and are mostly sold into jumpers and hunters, but you see a couple of good event horses out there that come from their stables.
And this horse looked really nice and rideable yesterday. Threw really nice shape. He looked easy to manage in between the jumps. So I would imagine that this phase will suit him.
It's a smaller horse, and a lot of times those are easier on the cross country. They're just more versatile, nippy, turn better. Hopefully they produce a good round today. Looks careful.
Good
He's
boy
trying to
there.
give the jumps a lot of room. Got a little deep to that water tray, but the horse was careful enough. He peeked down at it and said, oh, I'm going to give this a bit more room. Good instincts from the horse there. Started to drift a little bit there in the triple combination, and that just what that does is it affects the distance. When the horses stay perfectly straight, the distance is reliable, but when they start to drift either to the left or to the right, it makes the distance shorter or longer depending on what kind of line you're jumping. So it's really important as the riders to keep the horses dead straight.
Really good ride for her. Inside the time for Melissa Boutin and EWSC Gelando.
Fantastic.
She'll be happy about that.
Very
It's been a
happy.
good weekend for her.
Yep, fantastic. What a way to end the season for her. Next we have Julie Wolfert. I owe a lot of money. Sounds like the
Love that.
mantra of most professional event riders. So here she is into the ring for the show jumping, and a quite attractive horse.
Julie comes down from Kansas to spend some time in Florida and get a leg up for the season.
She had a good round yesterday, a fast round yesterday.
Really good round.
Fast round, finished the time in 7:48 yesterday, so well inside the time in the 3-star. You know, hopefully she won't pay for that today with a tired horse. That's the thing about, you know, producing these horses at top level. You've got to really gauge them on the Saturday, make sure they have enough left in the tank for the Sunday jumping. Just looks like it's a bit tired in that.
Just had the back rail of the oxer a couple fences ago, and then into the combination there.
You know, it's a little bit funny in its mouth, a little stressy in the bridle too. It might just be feeling a bit tired, feeling like maybe it's not got quite as much jump as it did yesterday, and Julie's gonna sit quiet and just try to nurse him around.
And really trying there.
Yep, and she kept
Good
him
boy.
really straight, gave him every opportunity to jump clear through that triple combination. Nice over the triple bar. Really nice there.
Good finish for Julie. And that looks like a horse that could keep going up the grades and have quite an easy time, doesn't it? It
Yeah.
looks like the show jumping maybe needs some work, but it certainly looks up to the next level.
Well,
It wants to do it.
You know what I like to see about horses like this, young horses? Like if they have a rail or two down in the beginning of the course, they learn from them and they jump a bit higher and they figure it out. You know, like
Yep.
the ones I don't like to see are if they have one or two down and they just keep going.
Right.
They just keep rolling with it and keep having them down. But this horse, he had a few mistakes early on in the course and he said, oh, right, I'm not supposed to do that. I'm not supposed to have these poles down. So he fixed it and he corrected it and jumped better by the end. So she's got to look at that moving forward and think, okay, that was positive.
And we've got Sinead Halpin on Cuddy Sark.
Definitely wins the best tail award
Oh, yeah.
of the whole class.
Got a lot to say. And this was another one that was really keen cross country yesterday. So Sinead will look to keep him nice and settled, nice and through, to give him a nice round jump around this course.
This is another horse that kind of flies under the radar a bit, but I think it has a lot of quality, and I know that when the time is right, Sinead's going to pull that trigger and have a big win with it. But she's kind of just taking her time and producing it. It doesn't look the easiest horse to ride, but, you know, no better jockey than Sinead Halpin. So look at like it's got plenty of go left in it after yesterday.
And it's done a few long 3-stars now, so I would bet with a good jump here today, it would look to move up this fall at some point. I would think she'd be ready for that next level with this horse.
For sure. And you know, he might actually come a bit more into himself at a higher level. Horses like this that are a bit challenging to ride, sometimes they need a challenge to match. Sometimes they get better as they go up the grades.
She did a good job there. He just got a little bit keen, started jumping at the jumps in the triple, and she just held him off and told him, hey, come here. Good shot to the triple bar there.
Well done, Sinead.
Good job, Sinead.
I think you're right. I bet you see this horse at a long format 4-star this fall.
Yeah, I think
And I bet
so.
he'll do really well. Ooh, a little spook there at the end.
Another horse with plenty in the tank.
Yep. Really good. Next we have Lindsay Lanier, Severance Pay.
So we're seeing Lindsay again. This is the second of her 2 rides. She gave us a really nice clear in the first round.
It's just 1 second over the time yesterday. Looks like another thoroughbred looking horse.
Oh, bummer there. Just got a little deep, just lost his power and tapped it behind.
Just looks a little bit earthbound today. It's
Yeah, a
just
little sleepy.
little earthbound, a little tired from yesterday. That was a lot of running yesterday, and even when these 3-star horses went in the morning yesterday, it was quite hot. So they struggled with the temperature, and the vets, all the staff here did a fantastic job making sure all the horses were okay and well looked after. Just kind of going around by Braille here. Looks just like a little bit sleepy today. Here she goes trying to motivate him through this line. Come on. Needs a little bit of a kick in the guts before this triple. Rattles that triple bar, but stays in. Gets a bit lucky.
Bummer at the last there.
Just like I was talking about earlier, sometimes these blood type horses, they just want to jump across the jumps and not quite over them. So she'll learn from this experience, and I'm sure as good riders do, she will adjust her training schedule with this horse to hopefully teach it to make a better shape in the future, especially on the day that they're tired.
Next up, we've got Buck Davidson and Electric Lux, Natalia Neneman's nice young mare, 9 years old, Irish sport horse.
Natalia's out with a broken foot. She wouldn't have passed the jog this morning, so
Nah.
Buck has been fortunate to take over the reins on this really lovely young horse. I know Natalia is very excited about.
And what a beast of a mare. She looked great yesterday. It looked like one of Buck's horses jumping around. Looked really confident, really happy. You can see Buck just going through the course in his head there.
Gotta remember.
He's gonna do his classic, hear the bell, give the horse a pat, think about it for a minute, and then get on down to the first fence.
Buck rides a lot of horses at a lot of levels, so he has to be the master at multitasking, and takes him a minute to remember which bay horse he's riding and which level.
This looks like it has plenty of jump after yesterday.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this horse is by Lux Zed, who is a phenomenal show jumping sire. Lots of really good jumping horses have come from that lineage, so hopefully this horse is no exception and jumps a really great clear round. Rattles that double, but jumps higher over the second element. That's really what you want to see in these horses, especially these young ones. At times you're going to make a mistake, but I like to see that they learn right away, immediately. They try harder on the next.
You can see Buck's experience there too. He just landed and gave her a good kick because she just dwelled a little bit into the combination. He said, hey, get out there. And then the mare reacted and jumped up and across the next one. Really good reaction there.
Really efficient on his turns too. He should have no problem with the time. See him get right around that tack shack of Ocala jump to get to the triple combination. Very, very efficient. No hanging around for BDJ.
Just gives her that little gap there at the end. Really nice fast round for Buck.
Here we go. Well done. Natalia's got to be thrilled with that horse, and but she's itching to get back on the irons as soon as she gets her foot brace off. Right. Next up, we've got Little Spotty, Landmarks Mochaccino from Jackie Mars' fantastic breeding program over there in the Plains, Virginia. Her house rider, Lauren Kiefer, in the irons. A really cute little horse.
And this horse jumped a really nice round yesterday. He had a little stutter into the first water, but then he really seemed to click into gear. He woke up and he jumped a nice round.
Adorable little horse. Real light, typey. Looks like it's just getting a little bit green, a little bit off the aids here. But Lauren's going to settle him right down and say, hey, come on, do this job.
He sure has given it plenty of air, isn't he?
Really good in the front end. That's what I like about these smaller horses. They tend to be just a little bit sharper, a little bit quicker.
Just arguing there at the Liverpool, so he just dropped his back and gave it a good rattle, but hopefully that'll make him a little sharper to the next one when Lauren goes to say, hey, come here. Hopefully he'll just go, oh, I didn't do it last time and it didn't work out for me.
You know, and horses like this is sometimes come against the hand. You would think sometimes, oh, I'll put a running martingale on it sometimes, but in reality, sometimes those gadgets makes a horse jump even worse.
Yep.
They kind of come against it and they hit the end of the rings and they just go more and more inverted. And Lauren's experienced enough to know what things are going to work on her horses and what's not.
Really good ride there. Ah, bummer. Just a little, dropped his back a little bit at the end there. Just a nice forward shot to the vertical and he didn't quite clear it behind, but nice round for Mochaccino.
The same problem that Lauren was battling the entire round just caught up with her at the very last fence. The horse was getting a little inverted, dropping its back, coming against the hand, a little bit tight in its jaw. And she was managing that the whole round, but on these tired horses, there's only so much you can do.
Yep.
Just caught up with her at the very last jump.
So now we've got the defending champ, Liz Halliday Sharp, Cooley Quicksilver. This is the horse that won this class last year in the pouring rain. And she's looking to do that same double clear again and just put a little bit of pressure on her other really fancy gray horse.
She's jumping out of order. She's currently in second place.
So if she jumps clear, she'll be the winner, regardless of whether she does it on this horse or the other.
So she's going to be fighting for a clear round.
This horse has been competing at 4-star short level this winter, and I've seen him jump some really classy double clears, so this height should be within his wheelhouse.
And she has no rails in hand. They've taken the dressage coefficient away this year, which has made the jumping scores on the final day so close. With you're splitting hairs between the top 5 places. So none of these horses have any rails in hand. They can't afford any mistakes. Here we go, lining up for the triple. Oof.
Ooh, a good bump there, and then he sorts it out by the 3rd.
Hopefully that sorts him out for the rest of the course. Sometimes a little bump there is going to make these horses jump a little bit higher and be a little bit more attentive to what's in front of them. 1 to go, and the event is won.
Ooh,
Oh, dicey.
good rub there.
Dicey at the last.
All right.
But she's won it. The only person that can beat Liz Halliday is herself.
And she's a tough lady, so I wouldn't want to be competing against her.
Well, she's going to be going for the big one, too. So, and they're jumping for money. The Horse Park put up some $15,000 for the 2 and the 3-star long this weekend, which is fantastic. We need prize money in our sport.
Absolutely.
And I'm so happy that they found a way to give it to us. Like, what a great thing for our sport.
Now we've got Watson GS ridden by Jessie Phoenix.
Here she is again.
8-year-old horse bred by the Galton Stud Farm up in Canada, Trakehner bred.
I know Jessie loves these Trakehner horses. She has a lot of them, and she does a good job on them. This is quite a rangy horse for an 8-year-old.
Really nice shape over the fences, plenty of air. What time do you have to go?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh, you're good. Do you want to do it?
Jessie's holding this young horse in a really nice balance.
This to me would be the one I'd want to sit on. Of the 3 we've seen of hers, this one looks to be quite a careful show jumper. Gives it plenty of air, good power off the ground, rideable in between. That's what you want for this phase.
You can have this one. I want the little thoroughbreds.
Fair enough.
We've already divided Jessie Phoenix horses amongst ourselves.
Come on by the tent, Jess. Great ride there. Just a shade over the time, it looks like, for that one, but she'll be happy with such a classy round from
She's
a big
very
young horse.
happy.
Now we've got Hallie Coon and Cooley SOS, an 8-year-old Irish sport horse.
These Cooley horses come from Ireland, and they are sought and produced by a man named Richard Sheen, and he has a lot of very competitive horses eventing in every country in the world. This horse is no exception. It's a beautiful type. Hallie's riding great. Hallie spent some time overseas last year in England and Europe, cutting her teeth on some of the bigger events over there, and it really shows in her riding. She's riding fantastic, and her results are showing it.
Hallie's gearing up for Kentucky with her really fancy black mare Celian. So it'll be an exciting couple of weeks for her. Hopefully she'll jump a clear today and then be off to that.
This will be a nice warm-up for her riding for Kentucky. It's hard when you've got just one horse at top level. You need to be practicing on other horses, and luckily for Hallie, she's got a couple good ones waiting in the wings, so she can help keep herself going while she takes care of her big horse and save it for the big day. Horse is really rideable considering the long track that it did yesterday.
Really rideable, and he looks like a big greyhound, doesn't he? He looks like he just gallops very easily, covers the ground very lightly.
She sat up in that previous line, and gave it a really good half halt, and the horse responded immediately. He was right there. Nice jump over the triple bar. Again, easy to rebalance in the line for the Oxer.
The time is good.
Well done.
Ooh, and just shifted to the right. Clever move there, just giving the horse a little bit of room to jump up in the air and clear that last fence. Really nice ride by Hallie. As smooth as we've seen it done. And now we've got Lindsay Tresnell on Bacarouge. Canadian combination coming down and spending some time here for the winter.
Lindsay was based overseas for years, and where she met her husband, Xavier, a French rider, and they have opened up shop in her, I believe, her home province of Ontario, and they're currently building a world-class facility near Windsor, and that's got to be really exciting for them.
Big jump there over the first. Lindsay's been producing this horse for a number of years. I remember 3 or 4 years ago, what I remember to be his first 1-star at the Hagyard Mid-South, and he looked to be a really promising young horse then and still now. He gives the jumps plenty of air, a real beast cross country, really covers the ground well.
Got a little deep to that first. Just almost over-responded to her half-fold. You could see her really kind of getting into him around the corner and saying, hey, come back. And he almost came back a little bit too much. And that's the thing about producing these horses at these long format events. It takes you a few times to really learn your horse and learn how they feel after cross country and learn how much you need to ask them or not. Maybe you don't need to ask them so much. And, you know, this is a good fact-finding mission for Lindsay and producing this horse for the future. Nice and straight through the triple.
So that third element of the triple just seems to be riding a little bit short, huh?
It has all weekend. And a lot of these riders, you know, if you care about your performance and you're doing well, you're going to come up and watch, you know, you should come watch these intermediate horses. There was a whole horse trial that jumped nearly this exact same track. So you'd be up here watching the lines and watching how they ride and studying the track for today. And, you know, looks like Lindsay was well prepared to ride through that triple. She knew that the distance was going to be short. She sat up over the B element. She protected her horse, and he had a great jump over it. Next in the ring, Leslie Law needs no introduction on his second horse of the day, LCC Vogue.
And this horse, historically speaking, is a very good show jumper. Makes a beautiful shape, gives it plenty of air with his hind legs. Oh, and just a little spook there for old LCC Vogue.
Oh man, greened
Leslie
out.
got it done, but
Oh, we call that greening out. Just, man, not even a gold medalist could have kicked that one up. But he's going to improve on that, get this horse on form, and get it through the round. Just allows the horse time to sort itself out before the double combination.
just looks a little rowdy today, old LCC Vogue, for whatever reason. Maybe
Where are these horses bred? These are Irish horses, aren't they?
This is an Irish horse. I don't know. I'm not sure where this horse is bred, but I know LCC Barnaby is another one that comes to mind with that prefix. Two really classy horses.
Little bit of a diesel, this horse. Just
Yeah.
took a minute to get it going, and now that it's on, it's jumping quite a lot better.
Good forward there, just shifts a little left. And a good jump over the last.
There we go. Well, Leslie will be disappointed with that first jump, that first fault he had. He was nearly into the top 10.
Yeah, that's a huge bummer for Leslie.
But,
And, you know, if you're gonna have one down, you might as well just blast it out. That's what I always say. I hate where you sit down a little quick and just tap one and it falls. Go for broke, blast through one, make him careful.
You know.
Make a man of him. Now we've got Jenny Jarnstrom riding the great Calicia Z, her first 3-star long.
I'd love to see these foreign riders like like Jenny, you know, she's a Swedish rider, and I love to see these riders riding horses from their home country. It's a Swedish bred horse. I believe that her mother bred it, and as she's done several other times for Jenny, and the horses fly over here, and I just think that's the coolest thing when horses, you know, you're riding a horse from your own country. I love that so much.
And I would think this format would suit this mare. She can be real spicy to ride, and I would think having run the day before, being a little settled, maybe a hair on the tired side, would make Jenny's job a little easier. And we can see she's quite rideable so far. She's giving it a nice shape, and Jenny's riding really nice and quiet, giving her plenty of time.
It's funny you say that. Oh, bummer had the first rail down there and the in and out, but you know, it's a young horse and they're going to make some mistakes like that. But it's funny you say that you think that the long format would suit this horse. This horse is by Pat Bionzed, who is a great Grand Prix show jumper. Went to the Rio Games and is a big, beautiful gray (1.60" show jumper. And you wouldn't have a lot of blood on paper, and likely neither would this horse. But sometimes that isn't always a direct correlation to how the horses go on the cross country. There's a lot of factors to consider: efficiency galloping, efficiency over the cross country jumps, how big of a heart they have.
Yep.
You know, there's lots of things to consider. You know, many people just look on the paper or the pedigree and say, okay, well, this horse doesn't have enough blood. It's never going to do the job. But that's not always the case, is it?
Absolutely. Just one left for Jenny. So, good rub, but it stays. So 3 down. You know, not a bad first go for Jenny at this level with this horse. Like, she jumped really well the first couple, just maybe got a little tired, just lost her quality of canter in a few areas and paid the price, but Jenny's got to be happy with that. You know, it looked easy for the mare, and that's what you want the first time at the level.
Jenny's top person, top rider, lovely girl, and it's exciting to see her have such a nice horse to produce, and she really loves her horses.
Hi, I'm sorry.
Mr. John Halling here with Dallin Toretto, inspecting the jumps, making sure they all are up to his standards.
Look at that helmet, Katie. That's an American flag if I've ever seen one.
Well, he is, you know, don't let Jen Halling see that helmet.
No.
Gonna replace it with a Canadian flag real quick.
Replace it with some maple syrup or something. Good jump over one. This mare is a really classy show jumper. This should be a nice round.
Well, John is a very technically correct rider. He excels in the dressage, and he excels in this phase as well. He's no slouch of a cross-country rider either, but these are definitely in his wheelhouse. Really nice through the double. This horse looks fresh as a daisy.
And this horse was sourced through Mike and Emma Winter. Emma rode this horse to get it going in the national, I think, prelim level classes or novices over in the UK, and did a great job with the horse. She's got a really solid foundation from Emma, and I know Emma was sad to see this one go, but who better than her friend John Halling to take it on and produce it?
Absolutely, and he's done a fantastic job with it. The horse looks so comfortable, looks so well prepared for the level. There's no stone left unturned in this horse's training.
This horse could go over to the horse show world quite easily, couldn't it?
Yep.
It throws a beautiful shape.
Easy.
Way inside the time. That's the fastest we've seen.
Efficient, scopy, careful. I don't think John will be scratching his head after this round. His job well done. Up next, Team Canada rider Holly Jacks, personal friend of mine, on her horse Candy King. Had a good day yesterday in the cross country, into the top 10 today. Currently in 8th place. Holly's got some exciting young horses, and she's doing a great job with them. I know she thinks a lot of this horse, so hopefully it fulfills her expectations in this round today. I like where this horse's balance is. It just looks well suited to jump from any distance. It's just uphill, it's up in its frame, it's cantering up across the ground. She doesn't have to do too much to rebalance it. It just is always right there. All she needs to do is lengthen and shorten its stride, which on this third day of a big horse trial, a big 3-day like this, can be a bit difficult. But Holly's doing a really good job managing this horse.
This is another horse, I believe, that came through Mike and Emma Winters, so they're having a really strong showing, Wayfarer Eventing is, in this class.
Good
They've
little
got
rub
some
there. Hopefully
really
that
good horses here.
carries her through the last line. Get nice and airy over this triple bar. Whoa, whoa. Easy.
And this horse really is trying today, isn't he, Katie? He's being a good boy. He's being rideable.
Really
Oof,
good.
Good rub there. Stays up.
Couple rubs, but you know, a good horse is going to learn from that, and she should be really happy with him. Very pleased. Now we're getting to the nitty-gritty of it, aren't we?
So we're getting down to those final few, and the next one we've got out is going to be Ready or Not, Kyle Carter.
This is a horse Kyle hasn't had very long. It's Trakehner mare, bred and owned by the late Christy Edwards, who sadly passed away last year. I know Kyle and Jen really miss her. We all miss her. But her memory lives on through this fantastic mare, and I know, you know, Kyle kind of has these two horses in the FEI this weekend that, again, have flown under the radar, and it's like he's said to them, hey, you two.
Time to go.
You've got some big shoes to fill in Madison Park, so you've got to kind of get up here and get going for me. And they both responded, and he's had some really good success. He's sitting near the top in both classes with both these horses, so hopefully Kyle can just keep it together through the last phase and get some really good results on them.
And decades of experience, this guy. He's been
Decades.
doing it
Isn't he like
forever.
75?
I know, yeah.
I mean, how old is he?
I can't even remember. I
Oh.
lost count after, 40 or
Oh my
50
goodness.
or however old he is. Just smokes that Liverpool. Good commitment there from Kyle. And another horse that he would hope to put into the Pan American Games contention for later this year in Lima, Peru.
Well, it's looking like it could be a possibility.
It's looking good.
This horse has gone
Oh,
on.
bummer there. Just a little close to that vertical.
Shame there. Just a little bit quiet through the line. Needed a good arm flap is what it needed.
Yeah. Just jumps the right side of that one. Left if you're from Kyle's perspective. Now down this final line. So one down at the big 3-star long format. Not the end of the world. Keep those reins together, Kyle. There we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
There the arms come
All
out.
right, there they
Gets
are.
him over the last jump.
For those
One
of you
down.
that don't know, that's Kyle's signature move. Things get a little hairy, the elbows come out.
It's like he's double jointed in his elbows.
It's crazy. It's like,
I've never seen anything like it.
it's like a combination of Gumby and, a big football player going to tackle somebody.
Wow.
Just magic to watch. Now we've got Leslie Grant on Lady Chatterley, the stunning 8-year-old mare. Love this mare. She looked amazing yesterday.
Two beautiful ladies
That's right,
contesting
two-
some stick jumping.
Two pretty girls. What could be better?
Nope.
And another, speaking of, Pan Am Games contenders, Leslie has got to be thinking about that with this horse for Canada. I know she's produced a number of horses over the years and hoping to get one in the games like that. And this, to me, might be the one. I think she's really good across the board. Leslie adores her, does a great job.
Well, it's a fantastic horse.
It is. This horse was sourced through Kai Steffenmeyer in Germany, through Merrill Bloom in the Netherlands as a young mare, and Leslie's done a great job producing it up the FEI levels. A good finish last year at the Jockey Club, beautiful clear on the last day, so certainly within her ability to jump a Class C clear round.
She's been due a good horse for a long time. Leslie's always been a phenomenal rider, but she hasn't quite had the horsepower since her old great friend Timber Spirit. So it's she's been due something to go around and be really competitive on and go to some games and do some really fun things. So this horse looks like it's up to the challenge for her.
And let's face it, she's hoping to one-up her husband, isn't she?
Yeah.
That's always nice. I know how that goes. You love each other, but you're quietly hoping to kick the other one's butt every time you
Yep.
go in the ring. Just the line for Lady Chatterley. The time will be a little tight here. She's got to just keep cruising.
unfortunately, on this last line, there's not a whole lot of time to be made up. You're kind of,
Yep.
you're a slave to the distance, and in that last line, there's not a whole lot of.
She did manage to get 6th to the last, so that was quite clever. She did a good job there.
Little bit on the time, but that should keep her well inside the top 10. So
Good girl, Fleur, as she calls her. Now we've got Jessica Phoenix back with Bentley, or as he's called. What's his proper
Bentley's
name?
Best?
Bentley's Best, that's what it is.
Bentley's Best. This is a horse with a lot of experience that I know Jesse's going to be aiming towards the Pan American Games, and just looking to give him a few really solid runs at this level. I would imagine this would be the horse that she would pick to take.
This horse had a big win at the Red Hills CCI 3-star short a couple weeks ago. So she'll look to just cap on that performance and jump another nice round. Had one down, had the last fence down at Red Hills. So hopefully old Benny's feeling fit and well today to jump a clear for her.
Well, Jesse's got the experience of being around this track 3 times before, so she knows it well. She knows the lines. She knows where she needs to be at. So she's got every opportunity to help this horse jump a really beautiful double clear. Just wants to get a little hollow in its back, and when it gets its head way up and drops it back, it just loses the quality of the canter. So Jesse's got to work him in the jaw and keep him a bit rounder and help just keep the quality of the canter together and keep the cleanliness and the quality of the gait.
One to go here for Jesse.
Good on the time, almost.
Oh, good rub, but gets it done.
Little over the
Just
time.
a shade over the time, but a really good result for Jesse. With old Benny.
Benny looks to be on track for the Pan American Games.
And now we've got Miss Dana Cook riding FE Whole Lotta Rosie, another really nice young mare.
This is a dressage bred mare, but it seems to jump pretty okay.
I'll tell you what, there's something about these dressage bred horses. I've got one, my wife's got one, and on paper you don't think they're going to gallop, but they can really run, and some of them can really jump.
This one is no exception. This horse is sourced by Eckhart Seward and Clayton Fredericks out of Germany, and they are bringing over some really nice horses. I had the pleasure of taking care of this mare when it was in quarantine, as I do most of Clayton's horses, and it's been all class since the time that it stepped off the truck, so it's no surprise that it's here at the top of the leaderboard today. Dana's got a fantastic team behind her. She's got such a great setup, and she deserves it. She's got fantastic owners in the Kingfisher Park farm in North Carolina. She's got really good students and grooms. That was a shame there. Just got a little bit of flat through the combination there. Didn't quite pick up as much as it should. But Dana's been working very, very hard, and she deserves every bit of this success.
And I know the Wrigleys are here watching. Hugh was out riding his horse earlier in the national class.
Lovely people. Really supportive owners. Really just great team to be behind Dana. And fun, just really fun, nice
Absolutely.
people.
Little hairy there, just a little wiggle through the triple, but it's a smaller horse, so maybe to come a little forward into it is kind of her plan. Make sure that she gets that distance early on and keeps
It's a
traveling.
smaller horse with a very big step. And sometimes it takes those young horses that have that explosive movement to learn to control it.
Good girl. So
Really
one down
good.
there for Dana. Nice round. Another great stepping stone for this mare to jump around her first long 3-star here at Ocala.
Last but not least, Liz Halliday.
Flash Cooley.
Flash Cooley.
7-year-old Irish sport horse, looking to beat the other monster in the top of the standings here, which is actually Liz herself on old Cooley Quicksilver.
I feel like she's been in this position before.
Yeah, it must feel familiar.
She's used to it by now.
I rode in this class last year, and I watched her promptly jump a double clear right
Oh.
after my horse went, and it was nothing.
Did it break your heart?
No, I had a feeling. I knew when I saw her entered 3 weeks before that she probably was going to win. So no surprise there.
Well, she's got the most enviable team of horses, and she's doing a great job with them. They are all on fire, all firing on all cylinders, and I'm really rooting for her this season. She's a great asset for American eventing to have. You can't count these young horses out, though. I mean, even as an experienced as a rider as Liz is, you know, these young horses, they make mistakes, and you can't put it in the bank until it's over, can you?
Oh, good rub there.
Just had a couple little rubs all the way around. Gonna just see what this young horse is made of.
You know, and most of Liz's horses are just a shade bigger than this little guy, so he must be an incredible talent to be a part of her team, because he doesn't quite look as big as the other guys, but oh, there you go.
Boom!
W.
And the penny drops.
That's right.
First and second place, Liz Halliday Sharp.
So winning it by 4.5 points. So had that rail in hand, didn't need it, no big deal. Congratulations to Liz Halliday on back-to-back 3-star long wins here at the Florida Horse Park. And I can't say I'm surprised. I had a feeling that this was going to happen sitting in this tent yesterday.
Her De Niro Zed horse is entered for Kentucky, isn't it?
He is, yep.
Well, this should just put the feather in her cap heading there, and
Yeah.
she should be abs.
So a great finish for Liz. So that's the horse's owner, Prue Dawes Rowland. So what a fun thing. She's having
And
a
all
little
the
cry
emotions,
there.
all the emotions come out. What a finish.
So she's got her husband Al there. She's giving everybody their due hug. What a great day for Liz, and she's got her whole team here. There's nothing better than that.
Fantastic. What a finish. Exciting, educational.
And a good course. I didn't see, the same rail come down too many times, so that's the sign of a good course, isn't it, Katie?
Chris Barnard is becoming the master at eventing show jumping. He's had a lot of experience now and always designs a formidable track for us.
Absolutely, and it seemed to be up to height without kind of punishing the horses for what they'd done the day before.
He's got a good understanding of what these horses need to do on the third day of a long format, and
Absolutely.
he builds the courses as such.
So we've got an exciting day. It's still not over. That was the top level offered this weekend, but we've got the 2-star long starting at 2:30. So we're going to come back for that, and I would assume that Chris is going to build a different track for that class, as he does. He likes to mix it up. He likes everybody to have their fair chance. And so join us again, 2:30, coming right back here, Florida Horse Park, 2-star long. Thanks, guys.
Florida Horse Park was actually created in 1996 under the Department of Agriculture. It was reorganized in 2005, but it really didn't take off until about the last 5 years. I think the Florida legislature kind of realized how valuable the park was to the community, to Marion County, and to Florida itself. So they kind of started supporting it, and we're very excited to get their support and continue the growth.
I'm really excited about some of the recent changes here at the park. The new arenas, the Martin Collins Clop Fiber arenas, were a huge added benefit and will allow us to bring in better, bigger shows, especially for dressage, eventing, and the hunter jumpers.
Our goal is to obviously create an international competition facility that encompasses all breeds, all disciplines. We've got plans to promote the education of agriculture and the equine disciplines, and just make the facility just an all-out facility for the people of Marion County, the people of Florida, the United States, and the international community.
I've been coming to the park for years. My wife rides and competes here. I come out and ride with her as well. So working here for me is more of an opportunity to really move things forward and see a great facility grow, something that I've used for a long time myself.
New events that have never been here before, and bigger events. We're really looking to get the community involved and be part of the team.
For me, the Florida Horse Park is a sign of economic growth. So the more advanced we get as the Florida Horse Park, the more business we bring to the economy.
We have 5K runs, we have festivals, we have rodeos, we have car shows, we have war reenactments. We literally have something for everybody, and that's what truly makes the park unique.
We get people from Barbados, from all over Europe, everywhere, and it's wonderful. And all the different events and horses they bring along with them.
We're welcoming back Jay Hambley as course designer and builder. Jay is building for the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. Jay has also built 2008 Beijing Olympics. We're also excited to welcome back veteran course builders, Tommy Neneman and Mark McCleary. They've been at the park for years, so we're excited to have them back.
We have a airway aerator that we just got to help improve our footing, keep everything as soft as possible for the competitors. We also have 600 yards worth of irrigation line that we could move to just about anywhere out on the cross-country course. And we can get it to almost anywhere on property to help irrigate the grounds, keep things looking green, and also keep the footing soft on the courses.
We really encourage spectators to come out for every show, but especially the eventing shows. It's basically the triathlon, but for horses. We have 3 different phases: dressage, show jumping, cross country. Saturdays are the best day to come because all 3 phases are running and you can see a little bit of everything.
Even though we are located in the horse capital of the world, Marion County, we are definitely Florida's horse park.
With a story that started with the love of the horse, Seminole Feed continues to push the highest of industry standards. Manufactured in the horse capital of the world, our equine-only mill in Ocala provides the safety and quality our horse customers have come to know and expect since we began in 1934. Performance for you means a horse that's happy and healthy. Seminole Feed, the world's best equine feed.
Shack of Ocala. What makes horse people happy? What makes them want to ride? What keeps them looking for the best and feeling good inside? You'll find everything you're looking for at Central Florida's greatest store. It's so much fun to come explore the good stuff that you're after. Tack Shack of Ocala, the horse lovers candy store.
Out here, we're hostile, cold, and cruel. Our way of life. There's no better way to live. Guts, glory, Ram.